Hey, thank you very much for coming back again tonight. Actually, on time. Well, close enough to being on time. You know, we're here. Yay! Thanks everybody for coming. Thanks, Let's Farm. Thanks, Amber. Sending hugs to. I'm not muted. Sending hugs to Jill. Poor Jill needs hugs. Feeling lonely, you know. Give him a wee hug for Jill. Other than that, yeah. Welcome back again. We'll be doing this every week, every Tuesday for quite a while. You know, at this time. So, Richard, would you like to a quick introduction to yourself, Richard?
Yeah, the ancient stories of gods are talking about aliens.
Boom. Straight to it. Ends justifies the means and they're all bastards, yeah?
It ain't going to be easy, that's for sure.
You've been doing quite well recently, Richard, if I would not be mistaken, just as I ramble while I look for the right chapter. You're what, up to 550?
That doesn't mean yeah, about 550, close to it. Yeah, that doesn't mean I want you guys to stop promoting me, though.
Oh, no. No. We have to get you to the 1,000, and then we can see the t-shirt that you wear. We can get you some merch, have it set up underneath your wee channel and all, you know. Yeah, I know Richard's echoing. I had the volume too fucking right. So, yes, Richard loves his aliens. They're coming to get us. Promote Richard. Come see Richard. 12-hour stream Richard did the other day, and you never know, he might have an after party after tonight and go another fucking 12 hours. So definitely subscribe to Richard. Links is all below. And all
that
of
way
that.
I can run over Knox's show right after this.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
We don't have this. We don't have that much overlapping audience anyway. I'm not hurting him.
Yes. So let me hit the right button here because you've confused me now. Because you're being a little funny. Present.
According to my oldest sister, I was always a little funny.
Yeah, we're having some issues at the minute with the script, so if everybody could just give us some patience, it should be. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. So, Richard, you should be able to see that. What is going on?
Lovely.
Okay, everything's just a wee bit tweaky at the minute. Okay, I think that's us now.
Red eye?
We're gonna go with that. Just don't touch anything and we should be fine.
I can't even reach the computer. It's all the way over there.
Big arms. Long arms. Long arms.
Big, long arms.
Yes, problems with the demon script. Fucking StreamYard's updated and has ruined us for the minute until we get it fucking fixed. But yes, with that, Richard, we were at chapter 18. We had just covered the Lady of Babylon and all that crack. And yeah, so I will hand over to you in your wonderful voice, Richard. Chapter 18. Go right ahead.
Well, first, peace and respect to everyone in side chat. Thank you very much for your attendance. Give MathPig here a like, maybe a subscribe. He doesn't do just this, you know. He also does like games and interviews and talks and open rooms and all kinds of stuff. So check him out.
Thank you, Richard.
And I've never seen this John rap before anywhere. Have you?
Yes, John's been coming for weeks. I've seen John around.
Oh, good. Welcome to the show, John. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. I suppose I should stop right there. Oh, no, I should continue. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. There I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Just, you know.
More mention of
like
kings.
That. Yeah.
Are you going to say that these kings are the commandments as well?
Let me see. After these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven. Oh, okay. So this is like this is like an announcing angel, maybe like a Gabriel character. Oh my gosh, where are we? You just moved it.
I was double checking that. I was looking to see if king was pluralized in the last chapter, or not pluralized, capitalized in the last.
Was
chapter.
it?
No.
Were it? And here is
No.
it capitalized here?
No.
Okay. So having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. I think this is during, quote unquote, the glory of God, when there's no more darkness, no more nights. So at the 180. So this is like, I think this is like going to be either during the 40 days, which are the judgment and stuff. So I think that's going to be like an overview in my mind for now.
Why is this not a
Right,
well, hold on. In the last chapter, Babylon was getting destroyed. We all went to see Babylon. We got the horn beast, and we went to Babylon. We discussed how she was a bad person, and now in the next one, we're discussing how she's fallen. Why is that not the next part of the story? Why is this a summation of everything?
Don't know. Let's find out.
No, I'm asking you in your opinion. No. I'm asking you in your opinion. Like it's continuing the story. You're just saying, we'll find out and read on.
I think it's not necessarily continuing. The idea of fallen here is like the idea of continuous fall, like coming to the end of the fall,
Richard,
and not necessarily that Babylon is destroyed.
Richard, it literally says at the very, very start of the chapter, and after these things, like it clearly states that it is after it, in a continuation of the story. It doesn't say that it's going to do
I mean, you and I both know that they interjected about half those ideas.
No, I don't, Richard. That's why I'm having the discussion with you. That's why I'm reading it and saying to you, it reads to me as if it's a continuation of the story.
I think that's the way that the translators thought about it too. Remember we had the discussions about the word and what it means?
Okay.
How it can be either in addition to or separate from.
Fine. We'll scrap the word and. We'll put a full stop in there. We'll make it a start of a conversation or whatever. After these things, I saw another.
Sure.
Right?
Well, John is seeing these things continuously. That doesn't mean they're in chronological order of the events and that they don't repeat. But it always says and after that, or and this and that. It always says that.
Right. After.
Just...
Are you saying that the word after has been injected? Are you saying that the word other has been injected? Because after and other, just them two words alone, say to me continuation of the story. Only them two words I need to say this is a continuation of the story. Not and, or any of these other words that you say is interjected. Just literally after and another.
Yes. I suppose it doesn't make sense to you that that's not an argument.
No, I just feel that let's find out and read on, and just sort of glossing over it isn't an argument. But we'll read on.
Over it, I think it'll become clear whether or not this is the beginning of the story again, or whether or not. But I'm only going to be able to glean that from context. I'm not going to be able to necessarily say in the first half sentence or whatever that that's definitely what's going on. But being that it is like the continuing idea of fallen, and now that has like come to completion, is starting over, talking about how the earth has become really, really terrible. So I would think, and it goes on like that. For all nations have drunk of the wine of her wrath, and people have become wealthy, merchantmen and all that. This is not like halfway through or near the end of end times. This is like starting again. Because nobody would be rich halfway through end times. Nobody.
I haven't seen anything about rich.
Yeah, right there in, 3? Drunk on the wine of her fornication, the kings of the earth have committed fornication with, and the merchants of the earth waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Yeah,
men have, for all nations have passed.
Sure.
They did this. They drank of her fornication. They had riches. This is, we've just wrecked the earth. This is why. Babylon has fallen because of all this shit that these people did.
Okay. I think this is starting over.
Go on ahead.
Okay. And 4, and I heard another voice. So this is like from 1 through 3 is again the announcements from heaven that make the ears tingle. So that idea again. And I heard another voice from heaven. Here we go, more announcements. Come out of her, my people. That yes, we're the angels. This is heaven. This is what you've been expecting. Just try to understand what's going on here and accept the new reality. And you receive not of her plagues. So none of the plagues have started. I think that's pretty good evidence that we're at the arrival of heaven again. Because there's been no plagues. And they're warning them against receiving plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven. That is, it's known, it's revisited. And God hath, remembered her iniquities. Which people should understand the word remembered here, not in the Greek, but in the Hebrew idiom, is to be with again. Not just something that's a past event that you remember, but to be in remembrance is like to go visit a grave and be with the person again. Some people on the earth, when they remember a person, they set a plate for them at the dinner table. They honor them and that, like they're really there. So, thoughts?
I'm reading, there's no point, because it's reading to me as it's a continuation. It keeps using words and it keeps describing. This is like, we will remember what has been done because the earth is now destroyed. We're continuing on. Apocalypse has happened. I'm reading it as, and I'm seeing it as a continuation. And I'm just going to say to you that, and then you're going to tell me no. And then we're going to have to move on.
I'm not going to say that. No, I'm just going to say that's fine from within your religious context.
Religious context? What, Richard? There's like, I'm reading it with
demolish doctrine religion, that religious context.
The demolish doctrine religion. It's reading, and I'm reading it in English, and the words, nothing to do with a Christian perspective or anything like that. It's
okay. Just explain to me how it is there's been no plagues yet.
Right, well, that's a different question. I will read what it says here. You will not receive of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Right? It's all done. You're not going to receive anything now because the earth's destroyed. Come up to heaven. Come be with us. Earth's fucked.
If this were the end of it, and this were the last people to ascend, wouldn't they have already experienced the plagues?
Oh, and it's never been known that they repeat themselves in the book, but we'll take the repetitive nature that you're correct and not the repetitive nature that I'm correct.
No, it's fine. There are actual serious preachers within Christianity that hold there's 21 plagues for this reason.
That's okay. Good for them. I'm not arguing with them. And I don't care what they believe about Christians. I'm talking to you. I'm trying to get down to what you believe and why you believe these things. And as you've said a couple of weeks...
you're less fringe than me. I'm actually saying you're less fringe than me.
I don't care if I agree with these people, right? They have their own reasons for doing that. I'm just reading it as I read it. And it comes across to me as a continuation of the story. Everything is past tense.
Yes. I believe everything should be past tense. Let's see, 6. Sins in heaven remembered, yeah. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. On the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double in the cup. Fill to her double. I think this is like the idea of becoming emotionally detached from the planet so that people will ascend. Like somebody flips you off, flip her off double. Something like that.
But even the next line, how much hath she glorified herself and lived deliciously? Lived. She lived, as in the earth is now fucked and done and gone. Lived, past tense.
Yep. So if the earth is destroyed, who are they talking to?
So you don't believe that there's a final group of people that are going to stay on the planet, that are going to fight and scream and shout right to the very end?
I do.
Right. And after all the plague, after all of that, right? After everything, okay? you've got an announcement coming from going, look, we have done all this. The earth is destroyed. Babylon has done all her bits and all the rest of it. Come with us. You'll not get any more plagues. That's where we're at the story right now. Like, I can't tell what happens next.
If that's where we are in the story right now, then they should already be dead. Who are we talking to?
The very last moments of the earth. The earth can be fucking destroyed and not exploded. It can be falling down around you and everybody else is left except you, this little group of people.
Okay.
Like, there's lots of things in this that you take through implication. And there's lots of things that you're very literal on. It's not literally absolutely floating apart and in space, but the world can be fucked. I can say the world is fucked and destroyed and still be part together.
Well, being that the text says that the smoke of the seat of the beast, or the earth, the smoke will rise up forever and ever, meaning it stays hot a really, really long time, which I imagine it would after all this stuff's done to it. Not livable for, I don't know, there might be some kind of living being that might survive some of that, but humans definitely wouldn't. Mammals definitely wouldn't survive that. You could say, I definitely believe that the Earth doesn't get like exploded into like a nebula or something. I don't think so. I don't think that's anywhere in the story. So yeah, there's definitely a solid body for, the continuation of time. That's definitely demanded by the text, I think. So I can kind of see your point. But I don't think we could continue looking at it that way as it goes on. How
much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. And she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judgeth them. Where did I see the word lament in there? I just scanned that a minute ago, and I seen the word lament. Yes, 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her. You can't lament for something unless it's destroyed or gone. It's like,
Well, I think they could lament their old home and their riches, their wealth, from a safe distance. Yeah.
According to you, we're restarting the story again. So I'm asking you, what part of the start of the story do we lament for the destroyed earth?
Okay. I think we kind of like glazed over entirely too much here in the last couple verses.
I'm directly asking you a question. It's very simple, and then we'll go back to it, right? If you consider this to be a repeat and a summary, how do I lament something at the very start?
They wouldn't be lamenting it at the start. This is, I think, again, an overview. So back up there, it was the start. We're no longer at the start.
Very quick.
Because I think the whole thing with time moved on there in like 10 verses.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to move the screen
go
up.
Back up if you want to. Sure.
I just make it easier,
Yeah. Filter double, glorified herself. Yeah, the idea, I sit a queen and am no widow, that is, I have no king, like she's always been the queen, and shall see no sorrow, that there'll be no end to her, and sorrow's not going to come to her. The idea of almost an eternality of the earth, which is like strictly against the prophecy, which I think people generally believe that there's no reason to think the earth would be destroyed in the next, couple million years or whatever. And I think that's speaking to that idea. And 9, the part you were just talking about there. Plagues, mourning, Therefore, 8. Shall her plagues come in one day. One day being 7 years. Christians have a hard time with that. death and mourning, famine, in other words, all the plagues, all the hard times. And she shall be utterly burned with fire, collapse of the crust. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. Yeah, strong enough to take the oceans off and stuff, no doubt. And the kings of the earth who have, in the past, committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her. That is, they're able to cry about it, and lament for her, continuing. When they shall see the smoke of her burning. They won't be there while it's burning, or they'd be dead. So they have to be in the only safe place they could be, which means they're in heaven. And yes, sorry Christians, I believe that people who are super greedy and rich right now are going to heaven. Standing afar off from this is new. Standing afar off from the fear of her torment. Heaven would be not the earth, yeah. Saying, alas, alas, the great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. I don't think it's literally an hour, it's 7 years.
So a day is 7 years and an hour is 7 years. Even in the space of 2 verses, right?
Sure.
Okay. So it's using 2 different words to describe the same time frame that close together.
Yep.
What's your justification for that?
None. I think that's just the way it reads. I think it's expressive, just like a day doesn't mean 24 hours. Hour doesn't mean 60 minutes.
I totally understand that. We could call a day a billy bong, right? But if we want to discern the same amount of time in less than 1 minute later, I'm going to reuse the word billy bong. I'm not going to suddenly use another word to describe the same thing, because that would confuse the shit out of people and make no sense whatsoever. So I would use 2 different words to describe 2 different times. Regardless of how long they are, whether they're more metaphorical or not. 1 day, 1 hour. 2 different descriptors.
Well, literally the end of their chance of ever getting their businesses back would be once the oceans are removed, which is why I think it talks about sea-going vessels and then the sea being removed. So
I think the fucking aliens in the
last...
space. I think the fucking aliens in space and the 3 hours of torture and all this bullshit beforehand. I wouldn't be worrying about my business. There's fucking aliens in the sky wiping people out. I'm not worried about my business.
Well, apparently they will be, because they had an easy enough time of it. They're only worried about their future business. Here they are standing in the floor of heaven crying about their business. They've nowhere else to stand, you know.
Under your belief system and the way you read it, I can see that you think that.
Yeah. But if the earth were to be literally being destroyed, where would they stay at a safe distance to comment on it?
There is also the possibility that this isn't real, Richard. There is also the possibility that this is just made up ramblings of a madman. You know, so I don't have to sit here and justify and say, blah, blah, blah. I can be logical and say to you that humans on this earth, when you think the ships are going to come, are not going to be worried about their merchandise. I don't have to maintain and be consistent. I don't have to be consistent of my disagreements with this Bible. I don't have to pretend to be demolished doctrine. I can have a different reason why I disagree with this the entire way through it. I can say one because it reads like a Muslim, one because it reads like this. I'm not trying to be consistent in my reading. I think the whole thing's not true.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, I don't give a shit about whether the Christians or this and all the rest of it. No human on this earth now, when the aliens come here, is going to be worried about their business if the earth is all bullshit and falling apart around them.
Okay.
Like, it makes no sense whatsoever.
It's a claim that it's making.
Yeah, it's a claim that it's making, and I'm saying that I'm asking you to logically think about it, and you're just going, it says it must be true, and you're not.
No, I think it's totally plausible, just not in your view of how bad it's going to be.
It's not in my view. Do you not have a view of the human race? Do you not think of and have an opinion of the businessmen and the people around here?
Sure.
The rich motherfuckers that this is probably referring to, that you're thinking of, is going to be white, American 50-plus-year-old guys who aren't going to be worried about their fucking money, in my opinion. They're going to be running off to their bunker.
I don't understand how you still have them on the planet. It says that they'd be a safe distance away. Which means they could have ascended early. Which means they could have had a really easy time of end times and ascended early. Which means they'd still be on the glass floor until Jesus arrives at the very end of it and walks in first. Which means they had a really easy time, and now they're sitting in the bottom of heaven lamenting the planet as it's destroyed. That seems very much in keeping with human nature to me.
Yes, all this extra wee bits that you've stuck in and took literal, yes, it totally makes sense with your consistency. Again, I don't need to be consistent. I'm not trying to create a religion here. I'm telling you that I, like, from my reading beforehand, give you the justification for it. When it says the earth is destroyed and shit like that, doesn't mean that it's necessarily blown up and they are done. Okay? I explained my point with that. I'm now moving on. Because these 2 points don't agree with each other, they don't have to. I'm not trying to create a religion.
Right. Incidentally, neither am I.
But what you have is a religion.
I have an anti-religion.
Okay. I'm not going to get into the definition of a religion or anything like that. You run around everywhere and tell everyone you're a Christian, you're a Muslim. You use all these Christian terms. You know, you have an idea, you believe in Jesus. Not enough people to call it a cult. But what you have is definitely a belief system / religion. I don't know how it could be an anti-religion. I don't think that I don't even know if anti-religion makes sense to me.
Well, part of the definition I've always heard of what a religion is includes some things that are false in reality, things that cannot be in reality, superstitious ideas, magical thinking. I don't have any of that. I don't have rituals that I perform. I don't go to a certain building on a certain day.
So Scientology doesn't exist. Scientology only believes in magic, and they don't believe in aliens and use technology and what they believe is technology to do stuff. Now, you may disagree with the workings of it, but, you know, Scientology is a classified religion that believes in aliens and uses technology.
Yeah. They use technology to remove something that doesn't exist. That's magical thinking. No, Richard. They remove something that we consider to not exist because they can't prove it yet. All right, our technology isn't there to prove it. Have you heard anyone else say that before? That the aliens have better technology and they know what's going on. Have you heard anyone else claim that? Of course I claim that. I think it's true.
Yes, and they think it's true.
No, they think there's this other entity living inside you, making you do stupid things that are against your nature.
Yeah, and I guarantee if you asked all of them, they would probably use a technological reason because it's a technological based religion. I don't know an awful lot about Scientology. We could go and ask a person who's been into it, Chris, whatever you call him. You know, there's no Scientologists here.
I just don't see any evidence of some foreign entity in us.
Okay, their religion is different than your religion.
Well, what's the religious part about my religion?
All of it, Richard. You have rituals that you go through. You have...
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I don't do any rituals of any kind.
You don't? You don't pray? You don't have a particular way of praying?
It's not a ritual.
I would consider prayer to be ritualistic.
Okay, as long as thinking is ritualistic and communication is ritualistic, I'll agree.
Right. Communicating with aliens in a telepathic nature, not communicating. Okay? Make sure you're clear on that.
Oh, I don't think I've shied away from it being non-local communication.
Yes, exactly. So you believe in an entity that's out there that we can't prove yet because our technology isn't there.
No, I don't think that's the case. I think their arrival will be necessary. Our technology would never get there.
Okay.
After all, you just like playing hide and seek, you could avoid somebody forever.
Okay. So, and you don't believe that the aliens in Scientology can do this, just like I don't believe that the aliens in yours can do this. And I don't know how you're not seeing that, you know, your opinion of them and my opinion of your... If you're not seeing it, no point in wasting time on it.
No, I see the loose comparatives. I'm not saying they're not there at all. I'm not being dismissive of what you're saying.
A few times you've been quite dismissive. I've said it and you went, you're wrong, says it there, let's see. That's, you know.
Was that on the same topic or was that on a different topic?
A couple of times in tonight's episode you've been dismissive.
That was on a different topic when it, I think, plainly says what it says here, in an overview at least. I mean, anyone can nitpick the details.
I'm just trying to get where you are, Richard, and understand and find a justifiable reason for how you read it like this. You always promote yourself as someone who is consistent. Now, I can be consistent without a need for a Bible. Right? I could be a fucking crazy motherfucker locked up in a room with rubber walls all around me and say the same thing over and over and over again and always be the same and be consistent.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I'm trying to read this and understand from you. I'm reading it. Richard sees it this way. I understand that. A lot of the times that's happened. A fair amount of times on the big things that's happened, it's like, no, I just accept it, or this, or I just this, or whatever, or prayer, you know. And all these things that come down, a lot of them that I'm having issues with lately is you. And it comes down to, I see it this way, I read it this way. And nothing else but we just must believe you because you believe this thing. And I want to help and I want to be here and I am your friend. But I don't want to say that there's this guy who can't prove anything. And you'll tell me you can. But when we go through these stories, I don't see any proof. I see a person reading it and making the story suit what they believe. Which is no different than any other Christian.
I don't know what kind of proof you're expecting of future events. I don't expect there to be any proof of future events. I don't expect there to be plausibility of future events.
Again, you're saying future events, Richard. Sometimes I don't read this as an alien story. Sometimes it doesn't make sense as an alien story. A lot of times it doesn't. And your justification is just your opinion. Nothing that can be proved. Like every time we ask for prayer or ask for a question or anything like that, we don't get it. Right? I'm not asking you to prove to me that this is aliens. I'm asking you to show me how you're reading it that way. And every time it takes a giant leap, the foundational reason for the leap.
Wow. Okay. Whatever.
See?
Don't see me.
You just dismissed me. You went, oh, fine, whatever. That's a complete dismissive nature.
If you're absolutely convinced of your position, then be convinced. I can do nothing about it.
We could have a conversation on it and I can ask you, how do you see it this way? I'm telling you the issues that I'm having with it so that you can maybe explain it a wee bit better and I can get there.
Yeah. Except when I narrow it down to why, you say, well, I don't need to be able to read this at all. I don't have to believe it at all, which is an escape.
Hold on, when you narrow...
That is nothing but a blatant escape.
No, I'm saying that I don't need a Bible to be consistent, right?
Yeah, what's that got to do with an internal critique? I asked you about an internal critique. I brought it down to a singular point that you disagree with. You escaped completely and said, I don't have to do an internal critique. I mean, what do we think this show is?
This show is me disagreeing with you and asking you questions and trying to
No matter what?
Pardon?
No matter what? Even to get out of an internal critique, which is what it's supposed to be?
What the show's supposed to be. We've went over this multiple times. The show is you telling me it's aliens, me disagreeing with you.
Yes, but if you jump outside of an internal critique into an external critique, then we can only talk about plausibility of this.
This entire thing started from me asking you your opinion on people and do I think business people will go this way?
Yeah.
Look where we are now. You won't admit.
I gave a reasonable explanation for that.
And I'm entitled.
Why it's not reasonable to you, I don't know.
I am entitled to disagree with it. I am entitled.
Yeah, but what is it you disagree about if a person ascended early and they had a lot of wealth and then maybe they didn't think the earth was going to be destroyed. Maybe they thought something else.
Okay.
So they're sitting on the glass floor of heaven and they're like, oh crap, I did not know this was going to happen.
Fine, you read it that
Possibly.
way, grand, 100%. You read it that way, aliens and ships and all the rest of it. Fine, you read it that way. I don't.
I just don't know how else to read it.
I know that, Richard. That's the point.
That I'm biased? I mean, obviously.
Feel free to read on. I don't think we're going to achieve anything. Hi, Skylar. Feel free to come in and say hello. I'll post the link if you're up for it. We might need a go-between before we stab each other. It happens every couple of weeks.
There's only 4 chapters left. We're gonna make it.
You know, it happens every couple of weeks. I just build up this little frustration and then it comes out, you know. Right, go on ahead. Where the fuck are we?
I'll find it in a minute. I don't know.
10.
Therefore shall her plagues, queen. There it goes. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who commit, okay, we already read that. And standing afar off, there we go.
Yeah.
City, 1 hour. There's the 1 hour argument. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. Yeah, no kidding. And the merchandise, thanks for the highlight, of gold, and I'm not going to read that. It's just stuff on the planet. That's just more stuff on the planet.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. It should
14.
all be important, but okay.
It is important, but it goes without saying that this is the stuff that's on this particular earth, and I think that's the point.
I know, but here's a point to me. You tell me you read Revelations only the once, and your second time around, this is maybe the second or third time that you just went, we don't need to read that bit and skipped it. For someone who considers this that important, the tattoo on their hand, I'd say that the second time I've read it, after years of reading it, I'd probably pay attention to all of it.
It's just stuff on this earth.
I'm literally reading a book there, and there's parts of it that it's just a DJ. And it's just a DJ in the radio that pops in every now and again. And, like, I've read every one of them, and I skipped one today, and I went back and read it because I was like, fuck me. And it's a book I've read loads, and it has no real relevance to the story, but it sets a scene. Hey, Spooky.
For everybody else, I'll do it. And the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all the fine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory, of manner of vessels of most precious wood and of brass and of iron and of marble and of cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. Souls being flesh, not spirit. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. And the no more at all is the key right there. People, this planet will not be if this happens. It will never be habitable again. You won't be able to save it. Staying behind won't help you. There's not going to be France for the beast of Satan to promise you. It's not going to be there. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off from the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city, thanks for the highlight, was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. Yep, she is. We're just littered with all that stuff. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to nothing, and every shipmaster, all the company in ships, and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? I guess we do think right now this is the only planet anywhere. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, Oh, see now this part, in order for them to cast dust on their heads, well, it's still the ascension's at the halfway point, and the dust and ashes before that, they could still have ascended early. And cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, the great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea. Man, that's weird sentence structure for my brain. By reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour she is made desolate. Nothing?
Oh,
Anything?
no. I'm just being quiet. No point in me repeating myself and you disagreeing and us doing a fucking rant again.
I don't know. There might be a point. That's up to you. There's no point.
The only point I feel like being an asshole about is at the end where it said souls of men
Go
in the
for it.
verse. In the verse that you didn't want to read, and it ends with souls of men, and you made the point of saying souls of men does not mean souls of men, it means flesh of men. And then you just moved on, and I was like, right, okay, that's the only thing.
No,
okay.
soul literally does mean flesh. It doesn't mean spirit. The soul is the thing that respirates, which is why at the beginning of the story, the flesh is breathed into and has life. That's like the breath of life thing. So, okay.
Soul. I could have a whole conversation with you about the people who translated this into English, knowing that we all thought what a soul was. They thought that that was the closest English word to use.
What, in 1611 or whatever?
But it still
Or
spoke
do you mean
English.
the modern translations?
See, this is why I did this. This is why I did this. I meant smile.
I haven't glanced at any of the new translations like the new KJV or the NIV, or I don't know what it would say right there.
Okay,
I really
we
don't
challenge for anybody in the chat, preferably a mod that could post this. Please look up chapter 18, verse 13 of Revelations, and could you give me the NIV version and see if it says souls of men, please? And while we're waiting for that, Richard, would you like to read on?
Great city. Yep. Just a second. I want to go back to that far off great. Where was that souls of men here? I wanted to give them chapter and verse. It's 18 something.
18:13.
18:13. Oh, it's all the way at the top there now. Okay.
Yeah, 18:13 says souls of men. Someone moderator wants to go and do that. That'd be great. Right.
I'd like a thorough survey on that. Actually, I'd like to know an average of how many times the common translations use either spirit or soul. It's going to be one of those two words. I don't know which one. Where were we?
We were at 18, 19,
18.
20. We were just about to hit 20.
Dust. Yep, 20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. Is it one line? And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. At all, Mormons. At all.
Sea? What do they mean by sea? And
What do you mean by sea?
Salt
water?
Let's Farm has just come back and says, and slaves, that is, human souls. An even clearer description in a modern version that to us would mean souls.
And slaves, that is human souls. Yeah, but that doesn't define the question. I mean, if as a Christian a person believes that we are of flesh and spirit, that doesn't really identify whether a human soul can mean human body. It could mean human spirit, so it doesn't really say right there.
It says human soul, and the argument was that I said that the people who translated this into English felt that soul, knowing what we took the word soul as, was the most relevant. Your retort was, this is Old English. So we went and got a modern version. So modern people reading this feel that in the understanding of the word soul, soul is the best used. So it does answer the question. It answers the question by using it. If they wanted to say body, they'd have used body.
I don't know. Anyway, I mean, today the words soul and spirit are almost interchangeable in most Christian churches, and probably would be in the translations as well.
I have never heard in all of my time of the word, and maybe, okay, one person did it and I passed it away. I'm not making an absolute statement like that. But it is very rare, and from my point of view, to have the word soul and body as interchangeable. The Christians over here are believed that the body is physical and the soul gives the body life. They are two different, separate things.
That's the way it's spoken of recently. I agree with you. But if you would just give me the definition from what you know of Christianity, if you off the cuff, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything.
The definition of a Christian.
Between a spirit and no, the Christian definition, the difference between spirit and soul, according to them.
Okay, from what I have been raised and round here and all the rest of it, we have the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is what comes down and changes your soul. If they use the word spirit, generally they're referring to something supernatural or whatever like that. I haven't went to Bible study, I haven't went to church in a long time, but in my colloquial conversations with Christians that I interact with, Holy Spirit, one thing, makes you a good person.
Okay.
Soul, the thing that doesn't need body, makes body alive. And spirits are all around us. Spirit and ghost would be more interchangeable than body and soul.
I think you're right. I think that's the way it's modernly used. Do I think that's the original intent?
The Greek word
things.
The Greek word is psiuxas. That's what soul is. They're using for soul. They're translating into soul. If you want to write it down or maybe look it up later or whatever, because that's the Greek word that they're transferring from. So you could look up how often that's used and what the meaning of it is.
To get that, Wes would have had to gone to the Greek manuscripts, which I agree is what a person should do. I don't know that Greek word.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not pneuma. I know that. That's all I can say right now is it's not pneuma.
It's not Billy Bob either. We could say it's not a lot of things.
Well, pneuma is a related topic. That's why I brought it up. It's the Greek word for the breath, the breathing. Where we get the idea of the word pneumatic and all the air pressure related words. Okay. But I don't know that word. It looks very different. It may not mean air movement at all.
So 22.
Found no more at all. Yes, Christians, there will be. Yes, Ace Theo, there will be no earth to follow. You cannot stay. And the voice of harpers and musicians and pipers and here's where it goes into a list of things that won't ever be here again. Not that the list previous to this wasn't good enough, but here we have an expansion on that. And the voice of harpers and musicians and pipers and trumpets shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman in whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For the merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and the saints, and of all that were slain upon the earth. That is to say, you have blood guilt. And that is like why she should be blamed, I suppose.
What's
it's just
blood?
an earth.
Explain to me blood guilt.
I killed someone.
So guilt for murder.
Yeah.
Okay, say murder then, Don't blood guilt's a freaking weird word. Weird phrase.
It's old-fashioned, but yeah, it's okay. It means you're guilty of murder. Yeah.
It makes me think of Anime Man and the people who used to be able to the water benders that could control blood. Yeah, it's weird. It made my brain go a weird place.
Wait. Can a water bender control a human being just because they have liquids in them?
Only certain water benders, and they like very, very rare. Very, very, very rare.
How would you even stop a guy like that?
That's the fucking point, man. They are yeah.
I guess you have to make it rare because then they would just be able to defeat anyone, no matter what, because they just control their body. Then what you gonna do?
There was a group of hippies that went and contained all the water in a forest and a swamp, and they went and became friends with all the animals and stuff. That was a better, let's use the skill for that, But yeah, bloodbenders. They were called bloodbenders. So when you said blood guilt, that's where my brain went.
That seems like an apt name. Bloodbenders.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Person who came
That
up with it.
seems unfair.
The very first person who came up with it was trapped, and she was a prisoner for a very, very long time, deliberately kept away from all water.
Yeah.
And there was years of this torture and her being in prison. So it sort of twisted her mind ever so slightly, made her not a nice person. Then you strain for the closest water source you can, and it's only was the people.
Wait a minute. An earthbender, humans are made out of minerals. An airbender, humans have gases in them.
And
A waterbender, humans have water in them.
It's nothing to do with having it in them. It's just, you know, there's firebenders, waterbenders, earthbenders, and airbenders, you know? And that's the 4 elements that they can control.
Right, but you have all that stuff in you except for fire.
Aye.
Couldn't any of them just move you however they want and make you act like a rag doll or whatever?
No, but the certain metal benders did get really good, could train then and learn to control. Certain earthbenders could then learn to control metal as their extended part.
See, they saw the problem with that in the script and went, we're not even going to address that. That's going to take us down a road we don't want to go down.
I don't know. I don't know. Firebenders could end up making lightning, which was I always thought was a wee bit weird. How do you go from fire to lightning? You know?
Yeah, I think that's inconsistent.
Yeah, I thought
that makes you an electricity bender. In which case, everything's made out of electricity. You're the king.
Oh, it even got better, man. The electricity was like a mad color and all too. It was like, how'd you go from fire to that? I can understand earth to metal. I can understand water to blood, but fire to lightning out your fingertips?
Yeah, that's cheating.
I thought it was a wee bit twisted. I have watched the series multiple times, but and the second series was quite good. I liked the core series as well. I appreciated it. It was more modern.
If fire is some kind of a plasma, electrical streams through gases can cause plasma.
I think that's where they were going. Yeah, I think that's where they were going.
I don't know. It's a stretch. I don't like it.
No, I didn't like it. Right, so we've hit the end of the chapter. How long have we been going? I haven't even been going an hour. How long is 19? Oh, it's a big chapter.
I want to go watch. Rage though.
Oh, are we letting Rage go? Are we going to end a wee bit early so Rage can go then? Yeah.
I kind of want to actually.
Oh, we're going to be nice like that. Well, maybe we'll go over. Is it an open room? Is he opening it up?
Probably not. He doesn't like us that much.
I know, that's right. He wouldn't give us a like because we're the competition. Damn.
What a jerk. I don't know.
What can you do? Assholes.
I'm still going to try to do
that.
I still want to stop at the 19 right here and maybe go watch his show a little bit.
It's a good point. It's a good point to stop. So, tomorrow, Mac, 5 p.m. Eastern, 12 midday, and 11 Central.
5 p.m. Eastern?
Sorry, 5 p.m. my time, 12 Eastern,
your time,
and 11 for you.
Something really close to that. 10 for me.
Ah, that's right. You're Mountain Time. You're not Central. You're the next one over. I keep forgetting.
True story.
Yeah. I will be back Saturday if I can find a co-host and think of something topical.
What's the Saturday show?
It's always an open panel.
It's going to be an open panel. Do you have a topic picked out, or just let people go crazy, or what do you do?
Usually on a Thursday or a Friday, I go, fuck, I'm streaming tomorrow. I need to find a topic and someone to talk to. So I do that and panic. So
right on.
You know.
I want you to know, and anyone who knows me at all, I have sworn off of that one channel that was doing like forever reviews of me, and I did like 2 of them. I'm sworn off. I quit. I'm not gonna do any more of that. It's just become a trash dumpster fire. Awful. I'm not going to address it anymore.
Right. I don't want to, because is it this person in the private chat?
No, I'm not even saying their name.
Oh no, is it yes or no?
Am
I right in the private chat? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Oh, I just want to do my happy dance and go, I fucking told you so. I fucking told
I'm
you
not
so.
going to do any more. I mean, I've made my point that they're just doing emotional appeals. They don't care about logic. They're not actually critiquing me. They're just making fun. You know what? I think I figured out why. He actually sends people out from his chat and his friend group into other channels so that he can say, well, that person was on your channel talking. I have a right to your stream. I'm like, oh, I see. You have no creativity. You can make no actual comment. No actual content, and you're stealing mine. I get it.
Do my happy dance.
I get it.
Do my happy dance.
So I'm done.
Yeah. Right. Other than that, go and check out Rage. I hear he's going live. If I can find someone and think of something for Saturday night, we'll be here Saturday night. And otherwise, me and Richard will be here next week to try not to kill each other again. And going, how many chapters have we left?
It really helps that you're in Ireland.
Why is that?
Because you can't kill me from this far away.
I can kill you with love.
I love you too, actually.
Oh, fuck, we're close, man.
I know.
Damn.
It only goes to 22.
This could easily be 2 episodes, and it could easily be 7. We don't know. Stay tuned.
I'm voting for the 7, but we'll see.
Oh, I've already thought. I have a couple of ideas for our next series. You know, we'll take a wee month break or 2-month break or whatever. So I don't care. I'm enjoying this. You know, straight into the next one.
Yeah.
But I need time to make a new cool intro and all. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I have a few different older versions of stories and stuff that I'm trying to find something that you haven't read before.
That's most of them.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find one that no, we done Gilgamesh, for fuck's sake, producer Wes.
Wes, we did a whole series with 10 episodes.
Gilgamesh got that what we did earlier and passionate that we took nearly a year and a half off because I was so fucked off because at the end of Gilgamesh there was like 7 Jesuses. I was fucking pissed off.
I don't know why that's a problem. I constantly am saying there's at least 23. I don't know why 7's a problem.
Because it's 1 per planet, alright? Having 7 and...
Yeah. But when end times happens, they're all here. Like in the 24 elders, that all descends on the planet. All 24 Jesus be here.
Think for yourselves, people.
I'll see the problem.
No, you don't.